This is our 200th podcast, and we are joined today with the one and only, the indomitable Laura Silber. Welcome, Laura, a longtime friend, colleague, and somebody that I know I look to kind of try to understand what's going on in the world today. All right, Jesse, take it away.
So, Laura, we're talking about authoritarianism. Like, where are the worst spots around the world today?
Well, hi, Jesse. Hi, Priscilla.
Yeah.
Where are the worst spots?
Yeah.
Let me just highlight a few spots and not say where's the worst, but we have authoritarianism all over the world. We have it in Hungary. We have it in Turkey, in Russia. In Russia, for example, if you protest, if you call the war in Ukraine a war, you could go to jail. In Turkey, you could be sentenced to life for protesting against urban development.
Right.
And in Hungary, you have a regime that controls the media. So these are just a handful of examples of authoritarianism, which until recently, we had an authoritarian ruler in Bolsonaro in Brazil who was voted out. So authoritarians, I think the important thing for us to think about is they're actually elected. It's not necessarily a dictatorship imposed by external forces or by military forces. They can be, I don't want to say necessarily democratically elected, but they certainly can be elected by the majority.
It doesn't end well usually for the leaders of these authoritarian regimes. It's like, where do you see, the future of Hungary? Eventually they'll, they age out in one way or another. Our great friend Tito, learned that the hard way, right? Like, it was all funny when he was in there, but now, at the end, it doesn't really work anymore, does it?
Well, that's right. They do age out, or they do eventually get voted out. But the price that the countries and the populations pay in the meantime, even if they were voted in, is very high. It's very high for the people in that country. It's very high for the neighboring countries. And the general weight, I think, is when you have these authoritarian regimes, really, frankly, there are many authoritarian regimes, and we can count them. We can't count them on two hands. We can't count them if all of you, Priscilla and I, count them on our hands right there. It creates a climate where authoritarianism is sometimes portrayed as an alternative, that it's a legitimate alternative. We have in Hungary, Viktor Orban has labeled it illiberal democracy, as if that's a kind of legitimate form of governance as opposed to democracy.
I think what I'd like to know about, how, Jesse's talking about the leaders, and there's the leaders and they age out or they die out, and some of them don't, they keep going, until the bitter end. How does it affect how are the sort of insidious ways that we may not think about that it affects living under an authoritarian rule?
Well, Priscilla, it's people get poorer. They can't have equal access to anything. So whether it's getting into a university or whether it's making a living or becoming wealthy, it's all more or less usually controlled by the regime, or at least in the hands of cronies of the rulers. So what we see is a general impoverishment of a country. We see the cronies of the leaders getting wealthy while the other people are getting poorer. We see a lack of kind of inversion of what you would want as democratic values. And that generally, and we saw what happened in the United States. And while maybe you wouldn't necessarily describe former President Trump as a classic authoritarian, he certainly had those tendencies. And you see the decline, that the media is threatened, and you see courts are threatened. So the price that people in that country, that citizens pay wherever they may live, is very, very high.
What was your take on the Tennessee 3? Did you follow that? Are you following it?
Sure. I found it phenomenal to see. Outrageous from my point of view to see these 3 people who were really standing up. They felt compelled to stand up against the gun violence, to join the people demonstrating. They do have the right of protest. Certainly, this is unprecedented. The idea of actually expelling, and as you know, they expelled 2 out of 3. The people who were expelled were Black. The person who wasn't expelled, although she did just squeak by 1 vote, was white. It's an outrageous attempt to censure them in a very aggressive and frankly really undemocratic way, and people won't take it. I mean, whether it's, I'm sorry, because in a way this action moved us off of the idea of gun control and gun violence, and these Tennessee 3 had stood up against guns and what had happened in the most recent killing of these school children. But it was a legitimate protest that they tried to suppress it. And I think, frankly, it's going to backfire against those lawmakers who expelled. I think it's something that now the whole country is paying attention to the Tennessee House of Representatives. I was really taken, I don't know what you two thought, but by seeing these representatives and how eloquent, particularly the 2 men, the 2 Justins, they're young and they're eloquent and powerful. And I think, most likely by the time this podcast aired, well, maybe not by that time, they're going to be voted back into office.
Well, I mean, if they stay in that office, they seem to me like they probably will go to, they have bigger ambitions now. But in a way, isn't it a sign, isn't what occurred there the same, have similar echoes of Selma when you have, or Birmingham, where Dr. King, is really leading a pretty futile fight, and then the news cameras pick it up, and all of a sudden, it's on the dinner table of every country, every house in America, and all of a sudden, the democracy is doing its job, the press is doing its job, the pressure is being asserted.
Right, the spotlight's on them now, and I think there are parallels. I think that the political actors are conscious of those parallels. They invoke the name of Dr. King and Representative John Lewis, and I think that it's these struggles that they know haven't yet been won, and now we're seeing a continuation. And it's frankly quite moving to see the representatives, or the ousted representative now, reach out to the Covenant mothers and the people protesting against the gun violence. I find it, in a way, and we'll get to this, I hope, is one of the signs of for optimism in this country.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
And I just want to put a fine point on the kind of the juxtaposition of, in a more of a true authoritarian country, Jesse, to your point, I don't think we wouldn't be getting that news, right? We wouldn't be getting they would not be allowed to either, however they're getting that on their phones or whatever, the reporters being there, it would be suppressed. And so that echo chamber gets further and further. And so, it hopefully is going to have incredible repercussions. The unintended consequences of what the Tennessee court thought, is what we can hope for.
I mean, I think that it already has. The one gentleman went to school. He went to divinity school, and then he also, when he was put through school by a scholarship in the name of
John Lewis.
Yeah, John Lewis, which is like, it speaks to the institutions, why we have to support colleges, critical thinking, these kinds of things. It's also just a sign that a lot of that infrastructure, although we feel like things are always bad, that maybe some of the infrastructure we've built is lasting and has meaning. Certainly Eastern Europe, Open Society Foundations has been investing there for 30 years. And sometimes it looks like things are in reverse, like in, say, a place like Russia or Hungary. But is some of those echoes and those things that have been done there going to have long-lasting positive repercussions for those societies?
Well, obviously, open society or democracy has had a lot of setbacks around the world, but there are also a lot of reasons for optimism. So if you think about an investment, if you want to call it that, in Open Society and the Open Society Foundations has been working for a long time in Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and right now there are considerable challenges, but there's also reasons to be hopeful. There are spots of light. There's signs that the investment paid off in the sense of a strong civil society, organizations, individuals, media, people standing up and helping keep either open society alive or hold governments accountable when possible.
There was a time during Vietnam where you could say this is good, this is bad. It was pretty simple here in America for us to understand the news as it was coming in. And then somewhere there was a gentleman that we actually interviewed in Russia together, developed this strategy where you make the muck so hard to understand. You don't understand if it's good, bad, indifferent, or whether ghosts killed the people. Like you literally have no idea what's going on. When we see things, and one of the strategies about open society is to provide newspapers and books and literature and things so that people can continue thinking critically. What does it mean in the world of AI, where we see this coming in, where I can send you a book about Camus and I can just change all the things I don't like and still give you the book and make you think that you're actually reading Sartre or Camus or whatever, What do you think this is what are the propaganda kind of, possibilities of AI?
Well, we've mentioned authoritarian regimes as being a great challenge to civilization, and AI also in this frame presents a great challenge. And one of it is in creating misinformation or disinformation, and it's masked as legitimate information. And as maybe the danger of humans losing as we maybe put less emphasis on education and less emphasis on critical thinking, that we lose the facility to distinguish, is this Camus, is this Sartre? And maybe that's even a really high bar. Maybe it's just, did this really happen? Is something important? Is something unimportant? And as AI, which even if we call it neutral, and we created these neural networks, but we don't really even understand what it is we created. So it just is churning these all information that's out there, not really distinguishing what they call large language models. And these models, they're taking in information, they're not distinguishing whether it's fact, whether it's fiction, whether it's misinformation, deliberate or otherwise. And that's the danger that you're touching on. And that's what, if people then churn it up and they say, okay, I'm going to write my term paper, right? Obviously, we don't want people writing their term papers with through GPT or artificial intelligence, but they may not have the human being, the student or the individual may not have the facility to distinguish, is this true? Is this not? So what our responsibility will be as humans with this kind of incredible, powerful tool is to say, we have to regulate it. We have to say, wait a second. And I'm frankly super worried. I'm not alone, obviously. I'm sure you guys are also worried, and everyone who's thinking about this at all, is that we don't have the kind of wherewithal right now to worry. We saw that letter recently from these really first and foremost kind of big scientists and academics and people from industry warn of the dangers of AI. But can we have a critical mass that says, slow down on the research? Governments, we got to regulate this. We have to see what's good, what's bad. How can we actually harness the power? But be careful, because in the end, everything I read and everything we seem to be learning, it's way more powerful than the internet, which changed our society. But if we can't keep it boxed in, everyone, from what we're hearing, it's like a nuclear weapon, right? And we need to regulate this. We need to say, hey, wait a second. Now, there's huge positive aspects of AI that we can touch on. But in the meantime, we have to realize its power and figure out what to do with it.
One quick thing, though, around this idea of, Jesse, you mentioned like truth, like the facts or truth. And even before AI was getting involved, I think there's always been propaganda. And I just want to understand, how do we educate people with critical thinking? What does it even mean? What is the definition? And how does one discern what is a fact and what isn't, if we're now getting, your news from so many different places, and maybe it was false prior because we were only getting it from one or two? Like, I just need the definition of critical thinking and how one can empower oneself.
The definition, I guess, for me, and this isn't an academic definition, it's to question, is to not accept that anyone has the monopoly on truth. It's to say, I'm going to read, I'm going to be informed, I'm going to hold an open mind, but I'm going to accept that there are facts, It's not to say that interpretations can't change. Of course, the way you may look at the Second World War, the way you may look at Vietnam, that can change, but they're objective facts. That we may agree generally on a set of facts and a set of events that took place. Interpretations can come and go, but it's the idea that you and we don't have to accept an externally imposed truth, but we do want to agree on a basic sense of whether it's, I'm hesitant to say right or wrong, but a basic sense of what principles are we as a society agreeing to adhere to. For example, I agree that you have the right to hold opinions, that you have the right to, as long as they don't threaten me in your actions, right? That the idea of respecting someone's right, personal rights, but in that we have a collective responsibility as residents of a particular country, as part of a particular society, to not do anything, to not have a kind of expression that is going to harm someone else. And while we believe in free speech, right? You believe in free speech. You don't want to carry out an action based on what you're saying that could actually harm another individual.
So people, don't have trust in the New York Times or the Washington Post, even though I would say that's as good as it's going to get, right? What happens when we have Rupert Murdoch and Elon Musk, telling us what Twitter is supposed to mean? And, these are radical right-wing, extremists are now in charge of these, large television and internet properties. Is that helping our democratic society, or does it take us further into the depths?
I would like to point out, though, that of course Elon Musk was one of the signatories of that letter that warned of the dangers of AI. But in general, I absolutely agree. It's worrying. It's worrying because they don't hold to truth. And if you look at particularly the Murdoch media empire and some of the falsehoods that they perpetuate, and people are fed a steady diet of misinformation. And while the New York Times, the Washington Post, there's so many other outlets and independent media and bloggers, and it's a vast array. It doesn't have to be, it's not in the kind of hands of an elite audience. There's a lot of access to information, but because of, again, the flood of misinformation and I think the state of education, frankly, is also playing a role in the state of society. And of course, the pandemic did not help. We're in a time of great challenge.
One of your colleagues said that, when the democracy isn't working for people, that's when they're more vulnerable. Yes. What are we not? And again, last question on sort of authoritarianism or the darkness, but what are we not providing for people? Where's the hole such that you want to believe sort of these things, misinformation? How does that occur? What are we not doing? Where are we failing?
It starts with education. I think it starts with inversion of the democratic process, which we're seeing in so many different ways in so many different countries. It starts with, I think, inequality, in unequal access to education, to information. And then I think it's a lack of regulation. And again, here we see the internet, right? That was when, and it's not that we should go back to the 1960s when there was 1 or 3 networks that we would all watch in the network news. And I think I like the democratization of information, but we also need to see how we can make it that people can somehow, and I don't know how, we obviously can't put the genie back in the bottle, but what can we do now? And that's some of the things that I think frankly, and a reason when I look for hope is that it will probably fall to the next generation to think of, to solve some of these questions, right? And you can see we have such an active younger generation of people saying, and whether it's on climate, whether it's on being active in media, and frankly, when we saw the Tennessee 3, right, that we saw some people, the protests and just the general mobilization of people and demanding their rights. And it's a time of, I think, social movements, and that may somehow help return, in a way, society to a better course.
So where are the bright spots in Eastern Europe?
Well, sure, we have a lot of bright spots, and Albania is a bright spot, and you can look at the example of, there's so many different examples in, whether in Albania, and you have a prime minister who's forging great relations with the neighboring countries in the Western Balkans. That's the first time. His leadership, they accepted hundreds and thousands of refugees from Afghanistan. You have all over the Western Balkans, you have peace. If we had had this conversation 25 years ago, we would have been in a state of war. I covered the wars there. So, so that's, I think, a reason for optimism. You have in Moldova, a country that is not in the Western Balkans, of course, but bordering Ukraine. And that country is this tiny country that has a democratically elected government that's fighting corruption and fighting against kind of the threat of Russia, and a internal movement of secession, and they're doing amazing things against all odds. You had the people of Georgia, which is in the Caucasus, a former Soviet republic and independent country for the past 30 years. The people protested a law that the government was trying to impose that would stop civil society, and the government just, at least for now, pulled back. So we have a lot of things. In the United States, we have, for the first time, a major drop in child poverty. Again, at least for now. We have, I think, unemployment. We saw yesterday that was on Friday, the statistics came out, I have them here, that Black unemployment is at an all-time, its lowest level since record of 5% since record keeping began. So that's a reason for hope. If you see in America, you have in the deep red states, we saw an unbelievable outpouring of support for reproductive rights, which was unexpected. So I find a lot of reasons for real hope across the world, but at the same time, we have to say there's a lot of things, and we've touched on them. We haven't really touched on climate, which frankly overshadows maybe all of these things, or at least is one of, if not the biggest threat that we're facing, right? And that's something that, and along with AI, right? If we're unable to really make the sacrifices needed to stop the warming of this planet, then maybe it's less important what kind of societies we're living in. And that's the thing. And when we talk about climate, I think in a way we all get inured to what it means for us. And I know you both have done some work on helping people understand what it means, but if I'm sitting in New York City now, I happen to be sitting on a relatively high elevation for New York City, but most of New York City faces risk of being underwater in a few decades. And we have places where you have the coast, the dangers of the rising oceans and flooding all the coasts. And then you have in the United States and in other oceans, but then you have people with river flooding. And we see that now all over, whether it's flash floods across the United States, across Europe, across the world. But then you have droughts. You have droughts in the West in the United States, but you have droughts in Africa, Lake Chad, where people are living off of fishing. It's disappearing. So people who are living off the lake can no longer have a livelihood. All these island nations are disappearing. They're disappearing in the Caribbean. They're disappearing in the South Pacific. They haven't disappeared yet, but they're at risk of actually a country disappearing. So all these huge problems, the people, frankly, who contributed the least to these problems are the ones paying the biggest price. And I think what we need to do is, as people in the United States, we need to pressure our governments, our authorities, our corporations to take responsibility and to say we need to, as a country, make sacrifices and to work with other countries, because without cooperation, without international cooperation, we won't be able to make the progress we need to on climate.
We a lot of ways you could just look at COVID as a first test of climate, which, we failed in all the old ways. We hoarded the vaccine. We, every kind of way that you could fail on cooperation around countries, we failed. Do you think we learned things from that can be applied to other problems and other places and things?
I think we did. And frankly, another reason for hope that I forgot to mention is if you look in South Africa, there's a small group of African scientists working to produce COVID vaccines, but they're also going to use it to manufacture vaccines in Africa to fight future pandemic and disease outbreaks. So that's a reason for hope. I think that came from the grotesque inequity of the distribution of vaccines and people mobilizing to say, wait a second, we need to produce our own vaccines in Africa. So I think things were learned not only in Africa, but obviously elsewhere, that all of our health, collectively, humanity, and that's very, I think, resonant when we talk about the threat of climate. We all need, for our own safety, our own health, to think about the health of others or the climate health. And so I think there was a lot learned, I think, in terms of distribution and cooperation. And frankly, one of the positive, when we look at the Ukraine, I think, and the way Europe reacted and the United States reacted, I think that's another, in this face of this terrible tragedy, we also see reason for hope there, because you have Europe really getting together, unifying, and mounting a kind of powerful stance to aid Ukraine in the struggle to fight against the invasion of Russia. So that's another way of, I think, knowledge that will, I hope in time, be applied in a peacetime setting that we can use for how to fight other challenges that we've discussed.
In Albania, which wasn't a bright spot, years ago, what flourishes there now that not the infrastructure of being able to, express yourself, but what flourishes in terms of civil society, are we seeing art and music and people living, having the possibility of living their best lives? What happens in an autocratic regime when it isn't that way? It's democratically organized.
Well, Albania, of course, was one of Europe's most dire example of an autocratic regime, right? Under Enver Hoxha, it was a completely hermetically sealed nation. I actually went there in 1990. This was after Enver Hoxha, but it was still, there were no private cars allowed. People weren't allowed to talk to foreigners. There were no tourists, except for the very rare kind of intrepid traveler that was permitted to go there. Then fast forward from 1990 to 2023, or even obviously earlier, the regime fell in 1991. But since then, there's a lively democracy. Sometimes it's challenged and it has had many blips, but art flourishes and music flourishes and restaurants flourish and society flourishes.
Once you get a taste of that, do you think how they said there's generational trauma that gets passed down, but do you think it's something that gets, once you know what that might be like, this idea of freedom of expression, of just being able to live one's life. And I mean, I'm thinking now again, I guess, of Russia at the moment, because there was a period of some kind of was there a democracy? I don't know, but there was an openness, where is that something that is just held on and keeps people fighting? Or is that something that, and after many generations, it just gets wiped away? I'm just so interested in, does a person yearn to be free, really? Is it something innate?
I mean, that's the essential question, isn't it? Or is it something of the democratic periods are just a blip? I mean, I believe that all people born free deserve to be free, right? And I think I'm sure we all hold that belief common, and that's what our democracies are built on. So I do believe that there's a kind of consciousness that's passed down. But if you look at a place like Russia, it's severely repressed and suppressed, and the penalties for expression are very, very severe. And obviously, if you look at someone, and I don't know if you've had a chance to see the documentary on Navalny, but if you see that, you see just the price that this one person has paid for pointing out corruption and mounting any kind of opposition against the Putin regime.
When you sit down with Milosevic and you're sitting across from him and you're looking at him in an interview, can you put yourself in his shoes and try and understand why he thinks, starting a war is a good idea? Can you understand it, or is it unknowable, the thing that creates the autocratic regime that, the guy not very many women have started autocratic regimes, so it's like the man at the top is thinking that is somehow, can you get a view of it as the reporter? Do you have to be able to report on something like that?
And for the audience, I just want to say that Laura did extensive work, as she said, as a reporter in the Balkans, and she did interview Milosevic in The Hague, which is kind of extraordinary.
I think you want to try to get a view of it. I think it's really important that you try to understand. Obviously, you're not condoning it. You're not necessarily at all sympathetic to it, I would hope. But the idea of trying to understand, to see what has motivated the steps that led to it and the understanding where they're coming from, I think that's an incredibly difficult to achieve any understanding. But the sense of being able to be in their shoes, so to speak, I don't mean as kind of on a equal level, but to see where they're coming from and to maybe understand their logic, I think is incredibly helpful for whether you're reporting on a country or understanding a conflict. Often, I don't think that they think, and say in the case of the Western Balkan wars, which I knew well, I think often those leaders didn't think necessarily we're going to start a war now, right? And when you read history, often it doesn't happen like that, right? And you can, depending on how you see it, right, that they certainly don't, even if this individual leader is thinking, that's not what they're telling the people, right? The people are fed a very different story, right? And if you look at misinformation, it didn't need the internet, right? We saw misinformation in the Balkan Wars. We've seen that throughout history. But the idea of mobilizing a population in a battle where the population needs to believe, right? They need to believe that they're doing the right thing. And they need to believe, I think, then that their existence is under threat. And that's what I think. And I think Milosevic may have even told himself that. I don't believe he believed it, but that's certainly what the people were told.
So do you feel like you see these young minds coming up that are going to step into these shoes? One of the things about democratic values are they have to be, handed down and, brought to the next group of people who are going to pick up the baton and keep going with it, even if they're going to change things in some different way. Do you see that in these minds?
Well, sure. I mean, when I used to teach at Columbia, or when I visited other universities in Europe and wider, you see young minds. They don't necessarily have to come out of a university either. I had the opportunity about a couple of weeks ago to remotely be a guest lecturer in a class actually of Ukrainian students that were dispersed across Ukraine, and some were in Budapest actually, and Vienna at the Central European University, CEU. And they were taking a course on the wars in Yugoslavia so that they could, in some ways, better understand or differently understand the war they were currently actually facing now. And to me, when I listen to the questions and the thinking of these students, I was not only incredibly moved, but you see a sense of hope or determination. And those are the future leaders, the students that are thinking about the problems of today, if they're studying history or if they're studying science. And sure, I have incredible, we all do, the people who are full of energy and excitement. And I think the younger generations across the world, whether in the global south or in the north, people are going to have to make sacrifices and come together to fight the challenges. And depending on where you're sitting or what you're able to do, the possibilities for change are infinite, but the odds are really long that we'll be able to. And that's what I think I see in energy, and really a sense of strength that is when I am around students in many different countries and I have the opportunity to see activists or people, civil society leaders, or people just working to make change. It fills me with a sense of hope that there is a possibility.
We've described human rights, these words that people don't feel an affinity for necessarily everywhere anymore. But whatever that describes as a ribbon blowing around the world, do we still see it that way? Is it a flame that's in danger of going out? Is it or certain countries, it's still evolving and it keeps changing, and we're on the march to in the right direction?
Sure. Well, I'm not the human rights, whatever you call them, and there's a lot of concern. You need new language around human rights. And I think it's more the sense, for me, it's not that human rights have gone out of style or justice is a thing of the 90s. It's probably, I think, some of the West or the United States using human rights when we weren't necessarily respecting human rights and justice in our own country and in other countries. I think that made some of what we were doing, right, ring a little bit of hollow. But I think it's also they have to deliver, and that gets back to the point of governments, democratically elected governments have to deliver to the people have to hold them accountable so that they deliver. And that's what makes the concept of human rights, economic rights, social rights not be hollow, right? It's a sense of a constant engagement and interchange between the elected and the people electing them, and that there's this sense of government for the people and the people holding the governments accountable. Sometimes people question, human rights. It's as relevant today. The language, maybe as music becomes popular and songs, and right, classical music may not be the most popular kind of music, right? But okay, fine, people can listen to different music, but music remains important. And that's how I think of it.
Great. Well, Laura, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was wonderful to have this conversation with you. And we will see you soon. There's obviously work to do, but you do remain hopeful. So I feel a little better today having this conversation. So
I feel a little better having talked to you guys.
Okay.
See you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.